Next on Worcester News Tonight, the mother of a local student is speaking out after her son was suspended from school over a hug. Plus, people in Worcester gather Monday night to celebrate their Italian heritage. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Cam Jandro. The mother of a Worcester Public Schools student is trying to get a suspension removed from her son's record. Julia Orezco says her 12-year-old hugged a female gym teacher and has faced unfair discipline from the school and district.
He was clearly really upset. So I just rubbed his back and I said, "It's okay."
An emotional Julia Orezco says she was stunned to find out her son was suspended from school after hugging his gym teacher.
The hug by no means met the handbook's definition of a physical assault, and so I didn't want that on his record.
Orezco's son is a student at Forest Grove Middle School. She says he hugged his teacher while joking around in gym class back in September. He was initially suspended for 10 days, but it was ultimately knocked down to 4.
I was told by the principal that they would downgrade it from a physical assault to a disruption of school. But when I read the description of disruption of school, it still falls under things like violence, threat, aggression.
Orezco says the suspension inaccurately represents what happened and could lead to her son being mistreated by teachers in the future.
I'm concerned about the student from day one. And so I think physical assault versus a hug, that paints a really different picture.
Neither the school committee or superintendent's office are commenting on the situation. Orezco says everyone has the right to not want to be touched, but hopes her son and the school can learn from the incident.
I do expect in a situation where he's the child, she's the adult, he's the student, she's the teacher, that she teaches him and that she simply sets an expectation for him around the boundaries that she wants respected in her classroom.
Orezco says she'll be taking her concerns to the next school committee meeting, which is Thursday. A recent Worcester Public Schools survey identifies a technology gap when looking into how students do their homework. The district surveyed about 11,000 students in grades 2 to 12. About a quarter of the students said they don't have any technology at home for schoolwork. 54% of the students said they used a cell phone, and the majority of students who had a device share it with others. The district aims to use this information to close the gap in its schools. Residents of Auburn will vote Tuesday during a special meeting to decide on how the town will reduce the use of plastic bags. The town meeting voters will vote on a bylaw which replaces restrictions on how retailers can provide customers with plastic bags. The focus is on single-use carry-out bags. There are exceptions, including allowing the use of plastic bags for items like frozen food, fresh meat, produce, and prescription medications. People shopping in town Tuesday were on the same page for the most part on how they felt on the ban.
I guess I'm for it because of the waste, even though I like using my plastic bags, but I understand why they would want to ban them.
I think it's good for the environment to ban them. I still use the plastic bags for trash and things like that, and I try to recycle them as much as I can.
I'm personally indifferent. I use the plastic bags to clean up our cat litter, but I understand that it is bad for the planet.
The meeting will take place at 7 p.m. at Auburn High School Auditorium. If the bylaw is approved, it will take effect next spring. This is the first year there was no Columbus Day Parade in the city of Worcester. A new organizing committee has plans to bring it back next year, but some in the city think the holiday as a whole needs a change. Our Chandler Walsh has more.
It's a little disappointing.
It's the first time in 22 years Mayor Joe Petty hasn't marched in the city's Columbus Day Parade. The organizing committee canceled the tradition on Shrewsbury Street for the first time in decades, but a new group has plans to bring it back in 2020.
I think next year it's going to be bigger and better with the business community and the Italian community getting together and put on a nice parade.
Joe D'Onofrio grew up in the neighborhood and says he enjoyed many years of the parade.
You meet a lot of people, friends that you haven't seen in years, and that was the good thing.
He recently stopped going like many others. Flying Rhino owner Paul Barber says the parade crowds were smaller in recent years.
As part of the Merchants Association, we've always tried the last 10 years to wrap things around it to help it out.
Several communities in Massachusetts have changed the name of the holiday, calling it Indigenous Peoples Day over concerns Columbus sparked centuries of Native American genocide.
I mean, that's the real history. It's not Columbus. He didn't even land in America.
Ulysses Youngblood thinks Worcester should change the name as well.
Because we can still celebrate and remember the history, but it's the fact of what it represents, and I think that's what people are having a disconnect nowadays.
Petty says Worcester's parade will likely keep the Columbus name.
It's really up to the Italian community if they want to rename it or anything, but, it's their pride and joy.
And businesses hope it makes a comeback.
Hopefully it will reinvent itself to become a great parade.
Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
And on this Columbus Day, members of Worcester's Italian community celebrate their heritage. The state lighting up the Burns Bridge red, white, and green to commemorate the Italian flag. For some, Christopher Columbus is just a small part of the history. They say today is about remembering the accomplishments of those who came from Italy and created a new life in America, as well as recognizing the achievements of Italian Americans.
Have been inventors. We have contributed a great deal to not only this country, but in Italy. And there are years and years of historical information about the good deeds that Americans and Italians have accomplished, and we shouldn't forget that.
Participants at today's celebration say while it's unfortunate there was no parade this year, it was nice to see the bridge lit up. A Gardner family is offering a substantial reward tonight. They're looking for information after their cat was shot in the face. Owner Erin Lovett says her 4-year-old daughter found their cat Oliver and noticed something was wrong. They took him to the hospital and doctors discovered a pellet gun bullet lodged in his cheek. The family is offering a $1,000 reward for information leading to an arrest and a conviction.
I was not expecting to hear, that someone intentionally, drew a firearm on my cat, So, no, I was pretty violated, angry, upset. And then I'm sad for Oliver, because, again, accidents happen, I know, but this was not an accident. This is something that truly someone meant to do, and that's just scary in itself.
Oliver lost his eye in the ordeal. He's recovering at home with his family. The dive bar on Worcester's Green Street will close in just a few weeks. The popular Canal District bar will shut its doors on November 2nd. The building owner is now hoping to open a family-friendly business ahead of the opening of Polar Park. The dive bar has been open for more than 2 decades and has been featured in several nationally recognized magazines. Bartender Dan Foley says he's going to miss the diverse clientele the bar brought in each night.
Back in the day, before the current owner owned it, it was an actual dive bar, and they come in now and they're in their 60s and whatnot, and they still love to come here and sit down just because, I don't know, these walls still hold so much history, and you can reminisce on those times. And then there's people that are 22 that come in here and they order a Bud Light for the first time, and you have to kind of give them the rundown. That's not really how it rolls down here.
The bar's owners also own gastropub Armsby Abbey in downtown Worcester.